Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Linda Parker, urologist and senior health educator, and today I want to talk to you about something that very few doctors are willing to say out loud, even though it affects almost every person over 60 who steps into a clinic or hospital. We grew up believing that if a medication comes in a prescription bottle signed by a doctor, it must be safe. That if it's standard treatment, especially for older adults, it's automatically the best option. But after more than 25 years working with seniors, I can tell you a hard truth. Some of the medications most commonly prescribed to older adults are also the ones most likely to steal independence, increase falls, damage memory, and silently shorten life. Not rare drugs. Not experimental treatments. I'm talking about 3 routine medication categories that millions of seniors swallow every single day without knowing the true risks they carry after 65, 70, 75. In this conversation, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most dangerous medications for seniors that doctors still routinely prescribe, why they're especially risky in older adults, the subtle warning signs your body may already be sending, and the exact questions you can ask your doctor to protect yourself without ever stopping anything on your own. My goal is simple, not to scare you, but to arm you. When you understand which medications deserve a serious second look, you can sit across from your doctor with confidence, ask the right questions, and make decisions that protect your brain, your balance, and your long-term independence. Let's start with a quick reality check about medications in later life. As we age, our bodies change in ways that deeply affect how drugs work. Kidneys and liver clear medicines more slowly. Our brains become more sensitive to anything that affects alertness. Blood pressure, circulation, and balance become more fragile. What might be perfectly fine for a 40-year-old can be downright dangerous for a 75-year-old. Yet the medical system often continues prescribing the same drugs, at the same doses, using the same standard protocols, without truly adjusting for age, frailty, or total number of medications. That gap between protocol and reality is where harm happens. So let's go straight into the 3 medication categories that concern me the most for seniors. Medication number 1. Calming. Pills for sleep and anxiety, benzodiazepines and Z-drugs. The first group is what many people call calming pills, nerve pills, or sleeping tablets. These include medications often prescribed for anxiety, insomnia, nerves, or to help you relax. Common examples are in the benzodiazepine family, like diazepam, lorazepam, alprazolam, clonazepam, and the so-called Z-drugs for sleep, like zolpidem and isopoplone. Doctors often prescribe them with good intentions. You're having trouble sleeping? Let's give you a little something at night. You're anxious? This will help you feel calmer. You're nervous about that test? Take this beforehand. For a younger person, short-term use might carry manageable risk, but for someone over 65 or 70, especially if taken regularly, these medications can quietly become one of the most dangerous things in the medicine cabinet. Why are they so risky for seniors? First, they directly slow the brain. They work by calming brain activity, which can feel pleasant in the short term, less anxiety, a bit drowsy, maybe easier sleep. But in an older brain, that same calming can quickly turn into confusion and disorientation, slower reaction times, memory problems, difficulty concentrating, daytime grogginess and dizziness. That might sound mild, but combine that with weaker muscles, slower reflexes, and poorer balance, and you have the perfect recipe for falls. A nighttime trip to the bathroom that used to be routine can turn into a fall, a hip fracture, and suddenly months in rehabilitation or even permanent loss of independence. Second, these medications often linger longer in older bodies. What you take at night doesn't necessarily wear off by morning. It can still be affecting your brain the next afternoon, even though you feel only a little off. Third, they cause dependence. The brain adapts to them. Over time, the same dose works less well, leading to higher doses or more frequent use. And if you suddenly stop, you can experience rebound anxiety, insomnia, agitation, or worse. That keeps people trapped on them for years. What are the warning signs that your calming or sleep pill may be harming you? You feel unsteady when you stand up or walk. You've had one or more falls in the last year. Your family notices you seem more forgetful or spaced out. You feel groggy or hungover in the morning. You need to take more to get the same effect. You feel anxious or shaky if you miss a dose. If any of this sounds familiar, it doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means your body is sending a message. This medication may no longer be safe for me. What should you ask your doctor? Never stop these medications abruptly on your own. Instead, bring them to your doctor, every box, every bottle, and ask, given my age, balance, and memory, is this still the safest way to treat my sleep or anxiety? Are there non-drug strategies we can try first? If we decide to reduce or stop this, can we do it very slowly, over weeks or months, so my body can adjust safely? Are there safer alternatives that don't increase my risk of falls or confusion? You are not bothering your doctor by asking this. You are being a wise, proactive patient. What are some safer approaches? For sleep problems, creating a consistent sleep routine, same bedtime and wake time every day, limiting screens and bright light in the hour before bed, gentle stretching, relaxation breathing, or calming music at night, avoiding heavy meals and alcohol close to bedtime, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Yes, it exists and can be very effective. In some cases, carefully chosen, shorter-acting options at the lowest effective dose, if necessary, for anxiety, breathing exercises and grounding techniques. Light daily movement, like walking, tai chi, or simple home exercise. Talking therapies, support groups, or counseling. Addressing underlying causes, pain, loneliness, medical issues, or overstimulation from news and screens. None of these will give the instant knockout effect of a strong pill, but they also won't steal your balance, your memory, or your independence. Medication number 2, strong drying, drugs, anticholinergics for bladder, allergies, and more. The second group flies almost completely under the radar for most seniors. These are medications with strong anticholinergic effects, what I often call drying drugs. They're everywhere. Medications for overactive bladder and urgent urination, certain allergy and cold pills, some motion sickness pills, some medications for stomach issues or even depression. They're called drying because they decrease the activity of a key chemical messenger in the body, leading to drier mouth, less bladder spasms, less runny nose. In the short term, that might sound helpful. But that same mechanism also affects the brain, digestion, heart rate, and other organs, especially in older adults. For bladder symptoms, common examples include older medications like oxybutynin. For allergies, think of certain sedating antihistamines people pick up over the counter without a second thought. Why are strong anticholinergic drugs dangerous for seniors? In older adults, these drugs can cloud thinking and worsen memory, increase confusion and disorientation, cause constipation and bloating, worsen urinary retention in men with prostate problems, cause dry eyes and dry mouth, leading to dental issues, raise heart rate, increase the risk of falls and delirium, especially during illness or hospitalization. Many seniors taking these medications already have some degree of cognitive vulnerability, mild memory loss, slower processing, or past stroke. Adding a strong anticholinergic is like adding fog to an already dimly lit room. Here's the tricky part. Anticholinergic burden is cumulative. That means one small dose in one pill might not be a big deal. But add a second medication, and a third, and suddenly the total drying load on your brain and body becomes risky. You might be taking a bladder medication, a nighttime PM pain reliever that secretly contains an old antihistamine, plus a travel pill for motion sickness. Each alone, small. Together, a storm. Warning signs your drying medications may be harming you. New or worsening memory problems. Feeling out of it, especially after medication changes. Constipation that requires constant laxatives. Dry mouth so severe it's hard to eat or speak comfortably. Trouble starting urination, especially in men. Feeling confused or agitated during infections or hospital stays. What should you ask your doctor or pharmacist? Bring all your medication bottles, including over-the-counter products, PM pain pills, allergy tablets, bladder meds, and say, could any of these have strong anticholinergic or drying effects? Is my total anticholinergic burden too high for my age? Are there safer alternatives for my allergies, bladder, or stomach that won't affect my memory or balance as much? Can we slowly reduce or switch some of these to more brain-friendly options? For bladder issues, safer strategies can include pelvic floor exercises, bladder training, and fluid timing, cutting back on caffeine and late evening fluids. Newer bladder medications with less effect on the brain, if appropriate, for allergies. Saline nasal rinses. Non-sedating, newer antihistamines. Environmental controls like dust reduction and air filters. For stomach issues, adjusting meal timing, identifying trigger foods, using medications with less impact on cognition. You don't have to suffer with symptoms, but you also don't have to sacrifice your brain to treat them. Medication number 3. Long-term, high-dose pain pills for arthritis, chronic NSAID use. The third group might already be in your kitchen or bathroom cabinet right now, within easy reach. These are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, commonly used for pain, arthritis, headaches, and just-in-case aches. Examples include ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac, and others. Some are by prescription, some are over-the-counter, but many people treat them all as harmless because they're so common. Here's the reality. For older adults, especially used daily or in high doses, these pain pills are far from harmless. Why are chronic NSAIDs dangerous in seniors? They can damage the stomach lining and cause ulcers, lead to serious gastrointestinal bleeding, worsen kidney function, sometimes silently, raise blood pressure, increase fluid retention, and worsen heart failure, interact with blood thinners and other medications in dangerous ways. You may not feel anything at first, no dramatic symptoms, just better joints. But inside, your stomach lining, kidneys, and blood vessels may be under constant stress. The risk multiplies if you are over 70, have a history of ulcers or stomach bleeding, take blood thinners or low-dose aspirin, have kidney disease, heart disease, or high blood pressure. Take NSAIDs daily or almost daily. What warning signs should you watch for? Some are obvious, some are very subtle. Stomach pain, black or tarry stools, or blood in the stool. These are urgent warning signs. Sudden fatigue, weakness, or shortness of breath. Swollen ankles or legs. A gradual increase in blood pressure. Worsening kidney numbers on blood tests. Feeling more breathless with activities. But remember, damage can be happening even before obvious symptoms appear. That's why long-term, unsupervised NSAID use is so risky for seniors. What should you ask your doctor? How often is it truly safe for me to use these pain pills given my age and my heart and kidney health? Are there safer options for my arthritis pain? Should my kidney function and blood pressure be checked regularly if I'm using these? Would topical treatments, like gels or creams, work for me instead of pills? What are some safer pain strategies? Every person is different, but many seniors benefit from acetaminophen used carefully and within safe daily limits, if liver function allows. Topical anti-inflammatory gels on specific joints instead of swallowing pills. Warm compresses, gentle stretching, and joint-friendly exercises. Physical therapy to strengthen the muscles around painful joints. Weight management to decrease pressure on knees, hips, and back. Assistive devices like canes or walkers, when appropriate, to reduce joint strain. The goal isn't to live in pain. The goal is to manage pain in ways that don't quietly increase the risk of bleeding, kidney failure, or hospitalization. Putting it all together, the hidden danger of polypharmacy. Each of these three medication categories is concerning on its own. Calming and sleep pills that steal balance and clarity. Drying medications that fog the brain and slow the body. Chronic pain pills that quietly damage the stomach, kidneys, and heart. But the greatest danger appears when they're combined. Imagine a common scenario. An older adult has arthritis pain, so they take daily NSAIDs. Pain keeps them up at night, so they're given a sleep pill. The sleep pill causes grogginess and urgent nighttime urination, so they receive a bladder medication with strong drying effects. Now they're on 3 risky medication groups at once. Suddenly they're falling more. Their memory seems worse. Their blood pressure rises. They're more constipated, more confused, more fragile. Everyone blames old age, but in many cases, it isn't age alone. It's the medication cocktail. Real-life stories. Names changed, lessons preserved. Let me share a few brief stories to illustrate how this plays out in the real world. Margaret, 79, and the Just One for Sleep pill. Margaret came to see me after 2 falls in 6 months. She said, "Doctor, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel fine most days, but my legs just seem to give out sometimes." She was taking a nighttime sleep medication prescribed years ago after her husband died. The dose had never been adjusted. She also took a bladder pill and a daily NSAID for arthritis. When we looked at her medication list together, I gently explained how all 3 increased her risk of falls and confusion. She was stunned. "But my other doctors said these were standard," she told me. We worked with her primary doctor to very slowly taper her sleep medication, switch her bladder pill to a safer option, and reduce her NSAID use by adding topical treatments and gentle strengthening exercises for her knees. 6 months later, she hadn't had another fall. Her mind felt clearer. "I thought this fog and wobbliness was just old age," she said. "I had no idea it was in those bottles." Carlos, 82, and the harmless allergy pills. Carlos loved gardening, but had terrible seasonal allergies. For years, he took a strong over-the-counter antihistamine, the kind that made him drowsy, plus a prescription bladder drug. His family began noticing memory lapses and periods of confusion. They worried about dementia and brought him in. His cognitive tests were borderline, but something didn't fit. We reviewed his medications and saw a very high anticholinergic load from his allergy and bladder pills. We worked with his doctors to change his allergy treatment to a more modern, non-sedating option, added nasal rinses, and adjusted his bladder strategy. Over several months, his clarity improved noticeably. He still had some memory issues, but they were far less severe. The family told me, "We were ready to accept that his mind was gone. No one had ever mentioned that his medications might be clouding his thinking." Helen, 76, and the miracle arthritis pill. Helen had severe knee pain and was taking a high-dose NSAID twice daily for years. She said, "It's the only thing that lets me walk." When she was hospitalized for sudden anemia and black stools, tests showed a bleeding stomach ulcer. Her kidneys were also struggling. In her mind, it was all random bad luck. But when we traced everything back, it was clear that long-term NSAID use played a major role. She was terrified of losing her pain control, but with careful guidance, she transitioned to lower-risk pain strategies, a knee brace for support, targeted exercises for thigh muscles, occasional topical treatments rather than daily pills. Her pain became manageable without sacrificing her stomach and kidneys. The common thread. In all these stories, the key turning point wasn't a miracle drug. It was awareness. Someone finally asked, "Could these medications be part of the problem?" That simple question can change the trajectory of an older adult's life. How to safely take control of your medication list. If you're over 60 or you love someone who is, here's a practical way to use what we've discussed today. Step 1. Gather everything. Take a large bag or box. Collect all prescription bottles, all over-the-counter pain pills, allergy tablets, sleep aids, all PM versions of medicines, all bladder or stomach medications, any supplements or herbal remedies. Bring it all to your next appointment. Don't just bring a list, bring the actual bottles. Step 2. Ask for a medication checkup. Tell your doctor or pharmacist, "I'd like us to review all of these together and identify which might be risky for me at my age, especially for falls, memory, kidneys, and stomach." This is not being difficult. This is responsible self-care. Step 3. Focus on the 3 big categories. Ask specifically, am I taking any benzodiazepines, sleep medications, or calming pills that increase my fall risk? Do any of these have strong anticholinergic or drying effects that might affect my memory or confusion? How often am I really using these pain pills, and what are they doing to my stomach, blood pressure, and kidneys? Step 4. Make changes slowly, not suddenly. If a medication is risky, the solution is almost never to stop it abruptly on your own. Instead, ask, if we decide to reduce or stop this, can you create a safe, gradual plan so my body can adapt? What non-drug approaches can we add so I don't feel like something is being taken away with nothing in its place? Step 5. Revisit regularly. Your medication list at 70 should not look the same as your list at 80. As your body changes, your prescriptions should too. Ask for a full medication review at least once a year, or any time you have a new fall. Notice significant memory changes. Start or stop a major medication. Are discharged from the hospital, a simple, powerful takeaway. If I had to compress everything we've discussed into one sentence, it would be this. After 65, the riskiest medications are often the ones that sedate your brain, dry out your body, or silently stress your stomach, heart, and kidneys, especially when taken every day for years without regular review. You deserve more than automatic refills based on habits formed decades ago. You deserve thoughtful, age-aware prescribing that protects your clarity, your balance, and your independence. And here is the hopeful part. It is never too late to review, adjust, and improve your medication list. Whether you're 60, 75, or 90, small changes, one pill at a time, can mean fewer falls, clearer thinking, better energy, and more years of real quality of life. Closing thoughts and a gentle call to action. If this conversation stirred something in you, if you recognized your own pills in these descriptions, or thought of a parent, a partner, or a friend, that's not a coincidence. It's your inner wisdom paying attention. You don't have to memorize everything we talked about. Simply remember these 3 questions. Is this medication affecting my brain or my balance? Is this drying me out or fogging my thinking? Is this pain pill doing silent damage somewhere else? And then, bring those questions to your doctor. Ask for a medication checkup. Ask about safer alternatives. Ask for a plan, not a lecture. You are allowed to question. You are allowed to understand. You are allowed to say, I want to stay as clear, steady, and independent as possible. Please help me choose medications that support that goal. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share it with your family, your friends, or anyone you know who takes multiple medications after 60. Sometimes one conversation is enough to prevent a fall, an ulcer, or a long hospital stay. And if you'd like to keep learning how to protect your health, your vitality, and your independence in the years ahead, you're welcome to stay connected here, where we keep shining a light on the truths that matter most for seniors. I'm Dr. Linda Parker. Thank you for spending this time with me, for caring enough to ask hard questions, and for taking one more step towards safer, wiser, more empowered health in your later years.